This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. Off day yesterday after a remarkable sweep in Los Angeles, and now we're in Denver. It's game number one of a three-game weekend series, the St. Louis Cardinals and the Colorado Rockies. The Cardinals Hall of Famer Jim Edmonds. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Welcome to Cardinals baseball. Cardinals playing so well, they've won 8 series now in a row.
Just in the nick of time, right? The playoffs are heating up. This team's heating up. They're a lot of fun to watch, and you're saying, like, playing good baseball. Look at this right here in these last 8 series.
Record of 20-6. The team average has jumped up to 264 during these games. The runs per game near 5, but the team ERA so good, and the bullpen has been dominant at times during this stretch. Lowe's whole team together. A look at the wild card standings and the importance of these games, and in particular this series. The Cardinals a half game in front of Colorado and Milwaukee. The Phillies a game out. The Dodgers, after being swept, now 3.5 out. Matt Holliday. So many years in Colorado, so many great years in St. Louis. Back in the big leagues. It's a holiday weekend. Such an emotional night. Baseball coming up. by Budweiser. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. And by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. We're in Denver, Colorado, and it's game #1 of a weekend series. Important in the wild card standings, the Cardinals and the Rockies. Should be a lot of fun this weekend. Let's get it on Fox Sports Midwest. It is a big crowd here in Denver, Colorado at Coors Field. The Cardinals and the Rockies, it's game #1 of a 3-game weekend series. Jim Edmonds is here, Erica Weston, I'm Dan McLaughlin, 85 degrees. The temperature, though, really dropping. Clouds overhead, rain in the area. But you get that from time to time when you come through Denver. And there's a look at Mike Schilt, his club, one of the hottest teams in baseball. What's at stake? The Cardinals are trying to make it back to the postseason for the first time since 2015. And meanwhile, on the other side, the Rockies are trying to make it back to the postseason for a second straight year. Back-to-back years with playoff baseball, not something that Rocky fans are used to. There's a look at the lineup. Carpenter, Molina, and Martinez. Then Tyler O'Neill batting cleanup. Huge home run off the bench, Game 3 against the Dodgers. Paul DeYoung, huge home run for him, a game winner. That was also in the 9th inning in Game 3 against LA. Jed Jerko, Colton Wong, Harrison Bader, and the pitcher batting ninth, Miles Mikolas. Seen him before, the right-hander, Antonio Senzatella, and this will be his 7th start. He has worked in both their bullpen and the rotation. The key with him, the slider. And for whatever reason, it's become more of an effective pitch as a starter than it was as a reliever. And there's a look at your Hyundai pitch arsenal with the right-hander.
Well, you get those guys that come out of the bullpen and they just overthrow too much, and sometimes the specialty pitches don't work because when you're overthrowing, you don't have any placement. So as a starter, maybe to work on that a little bit, and move the ball around with a little bit more consistency.
It's a players' weekend across Major League Baseball. The different uniforms being worn, different names on the back of the jerseys. And our key to the game for the Cardinals, Toyota presents it for Jim Edmonds.
Yeah, it says right here, strike in the first. We've noticed that Colorado has had a hard time keeping teams scoring in the first inning. They're the worst in the league at a 7.65 ERA and have given up 30 home runs in the first inning this year.
He might be the MVP. that guy might be the MVP. Javi Baez in the conversation as well, but Nolan Arenado, you are a great defensive player, 8 Gold Gloves. You have the ultimate respect, I'm sure, for that man playing third base for Bud Black's club. Rockies defense around the horn, presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Dahl, Blackmon, and Gonzalez. Arenado, Story, McMahon, and Desmond along the infield. Tony Wolters is behind the plate. So here we go. Packed house, late arriving crowd, but we're told it is a sellout tonight. And playoff implications this weekend. Should be a lot of fun. First pitch to Matt Carpenter is a strike, and we're underway. Carpenter is hitting .270. 34 home runs. He's driven in 69, in a bit of a rut here recently after he was hit on the hand last homestand against Washington. A ball and a strike. 3 infielders on the right side for Matt Carpenter. The Cardinals had 7 home runs in 3 games in Los Angeles. That included Carpenter's Game 1 home run off of Kenley Jansen. Brian Onora is our home plate umpire. He's also the crew chief. Corey Blazer down at first. Lance Barrett at second. Tony Randazzo is at third.
Talk about the infielders on the right. Look on the right-hand side of the infield. Look how spacious this outfield is. I know it's been talked about so much, but you get a lot of base hits in this ballpark from balls falling in front of the outfielders.
Ground ball hit to second. McMahon is there. One away. Is this the toughest place to play outfield?
I think it is. There's a lot of things that come into play. First of all, look how big it is. Right at 415 to dead center, but the gaps seem to get even deeper in the corners. You see how it's kind of squared off out there. First of all, not only do you find yourself backing up because the ball carries, and it's hard to really judge because the ball seems to just keep going in the air. Then you've given up all the space in front of you. And I remember early on they said you're going to get beat more by the singles than you are by the doubles and the homers, but it's something, it's mental when you're out there to see how much room is behind you to not try and back up to feel like you're a little bit more comfortable.
I would imagine, and you're a guy that loved to play in, that it's kind of gutsy if you're Charlie Blackmon, or in this case Harrison Bader tonight, to play in this ballpark.
Yeah, that's something to keep an eye on to see where they play against certain hitters. But you'll notice that a lot of the line drives and stuff will give the outfielders trouble because they do carry, and that's just not natural. It's like, I was talking funny today to Jed Jerko. I was talking about playing golf here and hitting a golf ball, and it's like literally the ball was flying 2 clubs further. And so that's the same thing with the baseball. A normal routine line drive will kind of come right at you. Might go over your head here if you don't get back on the ball right away.
And Yadi pops one foul and out of play. 2 balls and 1 strike. Mentioned the Cardinals had those 7 home runs against LA. 5 of the 7 came in the 7th inning or later. The point being, it was a dramatic series for the Cardinals and a sweep against a very good Dodger team. And Molina hits one into center field. Charlie Blackmon under it. We had a nice conversation with that man, Mike Schilt. Number of topics we covered, and one of the interesting ones with you in the office with him, his relationship and conversations that he has with Tony La Russa.
Yeah, you would think anyone that would have an opportunity to talk to Tony La Russa would really take advantage of it. And a lot of people don't, but he definitely is. He said he speaks to him almost nightly, and he's got a list of questions I think that he's got written down that he doesn't want to bombard Tony with, but they're there in case he needs them. But he said Tony's been amazing to him.
Out to right, and Cargo with the catch. So the Cardinals go in order. Miles Mikolas, the all-star, on the mound for St. Louis. He's had a sensational season. Mikolas and the Cardinals, Game 1 here in Denver. Been a tremendous season. Start number 26. 13-3 the record in a 2.80 ERA. And a look at the Hyundai pitch arsenal for Mikolas. We've talked about it a bunch. Can throw any pitch, anytime in the count. He goes deep into games, but pitching in cores, it's a different animal.
It is a different animal. I know a lot of guys have struggled in their first start here, or only being here a couple of times here and there, and you really try not to make too many big adjustments because you'll get in your own head. But I think he's got the makeup for this start tonight, and like you said, moves the ball around and will throw any pitch at any time, and that's why really this year he's been successful.
And the first pitch to Charlie Blackmon, grounded to Colton Wong. One pitch and one out. Look at the Rockies lineup. It's a good one. Charlie Blackmon at the top, then David Dahl, Nolan Arenado, Cargo bats cleanup, then Trevor Story. He's one stolen base for being 20-20. Ian Desmond, Ryan McMahon, Tony Walters, and the pitcher Antonio Senzatella. Mikolas gave up 2 runs, 1 earned, 7 innings against the Rockies earlier this month. Did not factor into the decision in that game. The Cardinals won it 3-2. And a strike to Baby Doll.
I was wondering if you're going to say that out loud.
So what would be your, are you Jimmy Ball Game? Are you Ball Game? What are you?
I don't know what I would go with. I probably wouldn't go with anything because I didn't really have a nickname. So
Gold Glove.
Might buck the system and go with Edmonds. Or
there
maybe,
you go.
Or maybe Jim or Jimmy. I don't know.
I'm ready for Broadcasters Weekend. Be some good names on the back of those jerseys.
Uh-oh.
Dictionary. Shut up. Talk too much. Be quiet. Leave me alone. I've thought of a bunch.
You have. You've gone to the next level.
Mute button.
Cough button. Mute button. Talk back. Just be quiet.
They're on the right sleeve. The player can write in someone that's motivated them in the game of baseball, gotten them to this level, which is kind of neat. This backstory's there. That's line foul. But it's Players Weekend, so the nicknames on the back of the jerseys. Here's a 1-2 pitch. 2-2. Miles Mikolas has not been charged with a loss since June 29th. 5-0 in 9 starts since then, 8 of which have resulted in a Cardinal win. That's how good he's been.
I mean, he's the ultimate warrior basically out there. He's kept his team in the game every time he goes out there. He hasn't given up any big time innings. He hasn't really done anything to hurt him. He's really just gone out there and been solid all year long. If you can do that and stay in the game, you're going to have a good chance to get some wins.
Base hit by Dahl into right field. 3-2 pitch.
What's been impressive, I think, with him is he's been able to locate all of his pitches. You know, he'll pitch at 92, 93, 94, and then he's got 96 in there, 97 when if he really needs it. And I think that's really surprised a lot of people when they've been in a hitting count, or, you know, behind in the count, and then all of a sudden 97, 96 is by you. And I think they go back to the dugout thinking, where did that come from?
Nolan Arenado, Matt Carpenter at virtually the same OPS so far this season. The difference, the road OPS for Carpenter, 4th best in baseball. Arenado, it's 42nd away from Coors Field. So anytime you're talking about those MVP awards, it seems like you do look at the splits between players, and especially those here in Colorado, home and road.
A lot of guys get it. Tough go here, I think, playing in Coors Field, but you still got to play. And a lot of guys are more comfortable at home, so can't really fault him for that. We obviously have some issues with Larry Walker in the Hall of Fame, I think, is a big one. People feel that he played here was a little unfair. I don't think so. And you know, you're always going to have splits, and some places are going to be better than others. But I still think this is a tough place to play, day in and day out.
You think it's a key that the Cardinals had an off day yesterday to get adjusted?
A little bit. I think it helps. I do remember talking to Pete Prenzi about hydration and legs, that you're going to be more sore just because of the altitude, which you wouldn't think so, right? You've been played 100 so many games, and I remember being sore after playing 2 games here, and I thought, man, did I do something wrong? And just, no, that's just being a little bit more dehydrated, and obviously you're running a little bit more in the outfield, but just the altitude gets to you.
Well, this time of year, your scoreboard watching: Milwaukee 2-0 over Pittsburgh. Yelich 2-run homer in the first. We'll keep an eye on that score throughout our ball game. 2 on and 1 out, and strike 2 on Cargo. And you can see the Rockies have been aggressive early in counts against Mikolas, probably twofold. He throws strikes, and you don't want to fall behind with his stuff.
Yeah, being able to locate all your pitches when you need to can create a little bit of problem for the hitter, and will make you want to go out and hit the first fastball that you see. Like I said, when you throw in 92, 93, and you know as a hitter that there's 97 back there, you really want to try and be aggressive and get the first one that's hittable.
And a swing and a miss. He struck him out on 3 pitches. Elevated. Cargo chased, and there's 2 away. Arcia drive to success. NL ERA leaders. It's been a remarkable year, by the way, for Jacob deGrom. Hasn't gotten run support nor wins. Aaron Nola, Scherzer, Boltonevich, and then Miles Mikolas. Mikolas 13 wins, most by a first-year Cardinal since Kyle Loesch. He went 15-6 in 2008. Here's Trevor Story, 26 home runs. He's got 19 stolen bases and hitting .295. Mikolas, to further the point about being around the zone, averaging just above 1 walk per 9. Only Corey Kluber slightly better. That's in all of baseball. So 2 outs and 2 on, 1 ball and 1 strike. Cardinals took 3 of 4 from the Rockies in St. Louis back in late July, early August. Had some late comeback wins in that series. And a grounder foul. And for my money, Jimmy, that was the series that this team officially made a statement and said, hey, we can do this, we can go on a run, and they have been ever since.
Yeah, just the energy level has changed so much, and you start to believe in yourself. You start to play a little bit better baseball, and it's almost a why not attitude, right? Why not us? Why we can play better, we can do this, and they've definitely turned it around. You just see, even in the highlights, we showed a couple highlights in the pregame and early on, you just see the energy level when they score runs, have big plays, the walk off. Just a totally different team right now.
Winning games late. Never feel like the club is out of it. Here's a 1-2 pitch to Trevor Story. Got him. So back-to-back strikeouts for Miles Mikolas. And we head to the 2nd inning. 7 home runs, 7th inning or later. Tyler O'Neill, 8th inning, 1-run game, went down to get it and showed off the power into right center. Mike Shildt pushing all the right buttons, and at that point went with Tyler O'Neill, and he's batting cleanup. I think part of what you were talking about too, Jimmy, the fact that the team is winning and you see how much fun they're having. There's a lot of youth on this team too.
Yeah, I think the key right now for these guys is they're playing, getting a chance to play, not looking over their shoulder. It's pretty obvious that the lineup's pretty much been the same as much as they can do it, and that's a big key for these young players. It's basically like, here you go, just go prove what you can do. And it's going to take some time for them to grow, but the only way you can do that is by playing and getting at bats and getting into situations. So over the long haul, it can do nothing but make this team better. And some of these guys have adapted really quick.
It's O'Neill here, DeYoung on deck, and then Jed Jerko scoreless here in Denver. And the 1-2 pitch. O'Neill hits it down the left field line. At the wall, it's 1-0. Long home run, Tyler O'Neill, number 5 on the year. 1-0, St. Louis. Pretty good power, huh?
Yeah, I really like the fact that his swing is really short. This ball just kind of sits there. Looks like he just sees it and swings at it. He doesn't really try to do too much. That's what happens when you have good power. You don't have to really work at it. You don't have to overswing. You just got to hit the ball in the barrel.
411 feet. The distance of the home run, and the Cardinals grab an early lead. Here's Paul DeYoung. He had home run number 14 off of Kenley Jansen. Talking to him before the game, he mentioned, as you just talked about with O'Neill, staying short against Jansen, knowing the cutter was there, but make contact.
See, sometimes as a hitter, the harder a guy throws, the better stuff he has, the less you have to do, and the less you need to do. Because it's just like anything, the more work you put into it, the more effort you give, the more mistakes you can make. You can see this is just a simple swing. That ball backed up a little bit. Just a short swing right on the barrel.
O'Neill really streaky. He was streaky in the minor leagues, and this fire here in the big leagues, streaky as well. Homered in consecutive games for the 3rd time this year. One ball and 2 strikes on Paul DeYoung. That pitch in the dirt, and it's 2-2. Talk about how DeYoung, never too high, never too low. He's had some tough stretches of baseball this year. Little squibber that's hit up the first base line, and DeYoung is tagged out by Ian Desmond. Old Dominion bringing his best. Jed Jerko average by month gets better and better. And Jimmy, you know, you think about playing every day, knowing you're in the lineup, and that helps to the consistency and the aspect of that average going up.
Yeah, he started off pretty good and then just kind of went into a little bit of a spell. But he's a unique player because he spent so much time on the bench over the years, and they used him like that. He got hot. That year he hit 30 home runs, I believe, and then all of a sudden you're thrust into the starting lineup, and then they're moving you around. And so are you a bench player or are you a full-time player? And I feel that's hard. That's a hard role. Never knowing exactly how many days in a row you're going to play, if you're going to have the day off. And he's been doing the best he can. And I think now I feel like when Mike Shildt took over, he kind of sat for a little bit, maybe rested him a little bit. And now all of a sudden that average is right back up there and having a good month. It's a tough game to play when you're not in the lineup every day.
And a pitch, 2 low and away. 2 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 pitch, 2 low and 3-0. That's the pebble on deck. Fun story behind that nickname. A 3-0. And he walked him. And it brings in the pebble.
One you're going to use for the rest of the year?
Well, he traded Wonger for a new nickname, one he used to recruit apparently Giancarlo Stanton during the offseason. And so he said he met him and he said, if you come to St. Louis, you'll be the rock and I'll be the pebble. So now he's the pebble. So 1 out and a runner at first following the walk to Jerko. I made the statement, I've said it a couple of times, I really felt Colton Wong would thrive under Mike Schilt. Those two know each other well. Wong would play every day. Before Schilt, hitting .216, 42 strikeouts, 18 walks. Since Mike took over, .306, only 9 strikeouts, 7 walks, and 2 stolen bases. He had 3 under Mike Matheny. So, you know, it goes back to what we were talking about. You play every day, you get a feel for the game and a confidence that you'll be in there day in and day out.
Well, and he's also made a big transition with his hands and his approach at the plate. Talk about staying back and going the other way. Made a really good stride last year with 2 strikes. He softened up a little bit. And I felt like he just forgot all about it when he came to spring training this year. And then it took him a while to kind of see how calm he is with his hands now. And I really think that's made a big impact with the way he swings. And I've had some really nice conversations with him. And I felt like for a while there, what people weren't really getting through to him. He wasn't really changing. And then all of a sudden, something must have clicked. And when the light bulb goes on, look out, because guys start to really improve.
Here's a 1-1 pitch to Wong. 2-1. And his plays in Dodger Stadium had everybody talking. In particular, his Game 2 play. Dove on the shortstop side of the bag. Made the throw to first base. It was an unbelievable play. Talking with Colton in the clubhouse today about it, and he said, really, I had no idea where I was throwing. I knew where I was on the field, but you just let it go. You have a feel for it. You know you got to let loose. And it wound up being a strike to Matt Carpenter. The 2-2 pitch with Jerko at first base. Ground ball foul. This will be interesting too, and I know you're a guy that really got into video and studied pitchers. The Cardinals in the series in St. Louis were able to take advantage of some of the tells of the pitching staff of the Rockies. So they were hitting, running, stealing, straight steals. And I think the interesting part is what kind of adjustments both teams make in that regard going into this one with video.
Yeah, video, and also the guy at third base, Jose Oquendo, is really good with reading pitchers and situations, and he'll from time to time, you know, give you a little bit of a indication where this is a good pitch to run. Kind of looking at the pitcher from first base, and you can see him over the shoulder a little bit past the hips of the pitcher. And he'll let you know if he sees something that he believes is just a for sure going to the plate. You can see like his head nod or feet move or whatever the sign may be that day. It's kind of the look you're looking at. Almost Oquendo is probably almost in that picture.
3-2, and they're running, and it's a base hit into center. Jerko now on his way to third base. And that does not happen unless you start the runner.
Exactly. And I was going to say, when you see movement, you've got more confidence and able to run, thinking at least that they're not going to pick over, and confidence is this whole game.
You think in part that's why the Cardinals have also cut down on strikeouts as a player at the plate, protecting?
I think that's something you have to learn. Yeah, you definitely, you know, you get to this level, and I feel like you're always on the defensive because the guys are so good at this level on the mound, and you better learn how to put the ball in play, take walks, battle. If you don't, the strikeout numbers are going to go up so fast, and you're not going to get a chance to play every day.
At the plate, it's Tots, also known as Harrison Bader. So Bader rhymes with Tater. and that was enough for his high school friends to conjure up the nickname. He said the nickname feels personal since his friends still call him Tots. So there you go. One out, runners at first and third.
Probably a lot of people watching this game with us on mute thinking, what the heck is on his back?
You're at a restaurant, you're at a bar, and you look up and they go, wait a minute, Tots? I know a lot of people are watching. Ratings on Fox Sports Midwest, by the way, have jumped and spiked considerably with the Cardinals playing this type of baseball. Here's the 0-1 instead of check on Wong, and see if the Cardinals want to be aggressive here with Kolten Wong. Could be.
Why not? If you see something you like about the time to the plate, got an opportunity with only one out, maybe stay out of the double play. Guys, keep being aggressive. If you've been aggressive and it's working, keep going.
In on his hands. That's fouled back. 0-2 the count. Here's the 0-2. A ball and 2 strikes. What's turning out to be a fairly lengthy inning now for Antonio Senzatella. Rockies have been much better in the pitching department. One of their best pitching seasons in their history. A 4.28 ERA by their starting staff. Third best all time. And you'd have to think with Bud Black being a former pitcher and pitching coach, maybe that's the kind of guy you need here. Someone that understands pitching in one of the toughest ballparks to pitch in.
Yeah, maybe a guy that's going to go out there and maybe take some pressure off the pitchers and give them that leeway, saying that, you know, if you can just do this, we'll score the runs. Just keep them underneath 5 or 6. You don't have to go out there and throw a shutout. You don't have to try. You're going to give up runs, so don't make it such a big deal and just try to keep your team in the game.
2-2 the count. See if Wong wants to run here. He's not. Check swing, and he went. Strikeout of Bader. MLB.TV now available at a lower price, $49.99. Watch every out-of-market regular season game, plus get a free subscription to MLB Premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. MLB.TV. Early on, that's a big strikeout with the pitcher on deck. Got to get that run home. And strike one on Mikolas. Mikolas hitting 130. Trying to get the rundown, and the ball gets away. Here comes Jerko. He'll score! A design play to try to bring Jerko home, and it works.
It's a great job right there. Just trying to create something, trying to create a run, trying to create chaos. And Polk gets a good jump. Looks like he's not going to go all the way to the base, and the catcher just doesn't handle the ball.
Wow.
But heads up, Tyler O'Neill right here. Or I'm sorry, Jed Jerko right here. Getting a good jump at third base and taking a chance to come home. Good read.
Jimmy running with 2 outs and the pitcher up. You don't see that every day.
I think sometimes you have to do it. I mean, you're taking a chance, right? What's the chances of your pitcher getting a base hit in this situation?
We're pretty good now. Blackmon going back, and it's gone! It's a home run into right center for Mikolas, his second of the year. When you're going good, you're going good. And the Cardinals right now are rolling. It's 4-0 Cardinals here in the top of the second.
So
wow.
Now if you're Miles, you go back to the bench and be like, hey, you just took an RBI away from me. Well, let's talk about the ball traveling. I don't know if we get a good shot of this at all, but see Charlie Blackmon running after this ball like he thought he was going to catch up to it, and eventually he just gives up. Just hits the barrel and ball's spinning. And no one thinks this is a home run. Watch Charlie Blackmon right here. And this is what I'm talking about with the ball carrying. He just keeps running and running and running and then runs out of room.
Fourth home run by Cardinals pitchers, which leads baseball. 2 of the 4 have been hit by Mikolas. Measured at 426 feet.
Wow.
I mean, that's a bomb. That's to right center. Here's Carpenter. Out in front, popped it up. Walters giving it a look near the screen and out of play. So Jerko scores on a pass ball and then a 2-run homer hit by Miles Mikolas. Just like you draw it up.
Just like you draw it up.
Wow.
You're giving the manager credit for getting things started because the pitcher doesn't hit well, and then the next thing you know, boom, pitcher hits a homer.
I give him a lot of credit for at least trying to generate that run. And we've talked so much about it. Put the ball in play. Create chaos, action, activity. That's what they're doing. And there's a strikeout of Carpenter, the second in the inning and second in the game. Mikolas with a 2-run homer and a 4-0 lead midway through 2. Smile, reuniting with some of his old teammates and coaches. Matt Holliday now in uniform for the Colorado Rockies. One of my all-time favorites to come through St. Louis. And now back with the team that he originally started with and was drafted by, and we check in with Erica.
Yeah, Dan, he spent just 15 games in AAA with Albuquerque before his contract was purchased. Now he's back up with the team where it all began with the Colorado Rockies. The former Cardinal fan favorite had his contract purchased from El Paso just a couple of days ago. Now, Matt told me earlier he had absolutely no expectations going into this. It was really just looking for the right opportunity to help a team to play meaningful baseball in August. Now, funny story about his first first game back with this club. Holliday came into yesterday's game as a defensive replacement after getting the call in El Paso, but he didn't have any black spikes when he showed up to the ballpark yesterday. It was just the gray cleats he had from his time with Albuquerque. He ended up wearing a pair of his cleats from 2007 that were in the Rockies archives here at Coors Field. His black cleats were, of course, expected to be here today, but as far as the Cardinals are concerned, he said obviously a lot of turnover since he was there, but he's happy to see the staff today. It's still the same red and gray he used to wear for a long time, guys.
Colorado's VP of Community and Retail Operations, Jim Kellogg, knew about those cleats from 2007, and that's when they were able to get the ones to fit him. It's Jerko to his left. Desmond retired. So Holliday returned to the Rockies yesterday, and just in time to take on the Cardinals. 14 of Holliday's 15 big league seasons have been spent either in Colorado or St. Louis. Brief time in Oakland. Last year with the Yankees, he battled a virus and it sapped his energy. They didn't know what was wrong with him. He didn't know. So it was very tough for him to get back on track. And I talked to Matt on the phone last night for probably a good 25-30 minutes as he was settling back in here to Colorado, and he said it was surreal. His wife driving him to the ballpark yesterday, and he said it was like 15 years ago when I first made the team, and she drove me to the ballpark, and the emotions, the excitement, the anticipation. There's a base hit to left field. O'Neill will hold McMahon to a single. But one of the things that he talked about, Jimmy, he said really, going out on your own terms is something that any player would like to do. And I'm not saying that this is it. I'm not saying I'm retiring, but I can tell you this. I'm going to enjoy every minute of the next 5 to 6 weeks, if not more. Enjoy it and soak it in more so now than any time ever in my playing career.
Well, that's good for him. I mean, couldn't be a nicer guy, couldn't be a nicer family. And like you said, going out that way, being able to really enjoy it here at the end is key. And I think we all wish that we could go back and kind of do some things over again. And maybe this is his chance to really, because it's a grind. It's day to day, a lot of pressure on you, a lot of time that you spend at the ballpark away from your family, and a lot of time that's been asked of you. So you just have to, it just kind of slips away so fast. And good for him to be able to do what he's done and make it back.
He was coaching and working with his kids. He had been hitting a little bit, but as he mentioned, no expectations. He said, I had to get my timing back, see how I felt. But when the Rockies called, it made sense. I did ask him if there were conversations with the Cardinals, and he did admit to me, yes, on both sides, but it wasn't the right fit. And so Colorado is the place to be for him. And he said it would be mixed emotions tonight facing the Cardinals. And he said it just sets up, though, to be a great weekend of baseball. Two teams going for a playoff spot. There's a fly ball lifted into right field. Martinez coming in. Won't get it, and it drops. Ball hung up there a long time.
That's what we were talking about earlier, about playing back and thinking that every ball is going to be hit over your head. Got a soft, slow jump on this ball. I thought it was hit high. I don't think he saw it right away. That outfield is just so big.
This time of night, I'm not sure he picked it up off the bat.
Well, there's also, I think, had a chance to go back and even look now. He's moving in a little bit, but he's so far, so deep that any ball hit over his head's a double or a home run. And there's really no chance of you to get back to that wall. So
here's Senzatella. Mikolas will get the easy out. And there's Pebble at first base. Cardinals defense tonight. O'Neill, Bader, Martinez in the outfield. Around the horn, presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Jerko, DeYoung, Wong, and Carpenter on the infield, and Yadier Molina behind the plate.
My advice to be with Martinez would be, hey, you don't need to play so deep because the ball's literally over your head. Worry about just the ball in front of you. Ball goes over your head, turn around, pick it up, throw it to second base. Make it easy on yourself.
So here's Charlie Blackmon, Chuck Nasty, nickname that was born in 2011. That's his Twitter handle. He was on the DL with a foot injury, wanted to start Twitter, said he spent 5 seconds thinking up the name and said he went crazy by putting the Z in Nasty. So there you go. Charlie Blackmon at the plate, dangerous, we know that. 22 home runs, grounded to second, first time up. Runners at second and third. And a ground ball gets him to reach. Wong is there. Rockies strand 2. We head to the third. Coming up for the Cardinals, Molina, Martinez, and O'Neill. 4-0. O'Neill with a leadoff homer. Cardinals in scored on a wild pitch. That was Jerko. And how about this? A 2-run homer hit by, of all people, Mikolas. 16th straight game with a home run. Longest streak for the Cardinals. Kubota Power Stats. That's the longest streak this year. And it ties Philly for the most this season. And during the 16-game home run streak, that's 28 home runs hit by St. Louis. George Greer on the left, Mark Budaska on the right. They've done a very, very nice job. There's Yadier Molina, who fly to center. Hit down the right field line, and it is caught. Nice play by Ian Desmond. Boy, that's a good play.
It's a great play. It's a long run. You see another example of how long that ball stays up in the air. How far he runs with this ball, and the ball's just floating up there, doesn't want to come down. Gives him enough time to get back and make a nice play. You're right. It's a good athlete. Blows me away that he's playing first base.
Yeah. Years in Washington, he was at shortstop, struggled defensively there.
Went to center field, I believe.
That's right, he did that with Texas. I remember the Rangers came through a couple of years ago, and Ian Desmond was out trying to find Jim Edmonds. Remember that? Talking to you about playing center.
Yep.
Glad I can remind you about your conversation.
I actually was going to say something, and I believe that started off with "help me."
Is that what it was?
Tell you what, this bat that Carlos is swinging does not do it justice on TV. It is bright yellow at the top of the barrel right there.
Venezuelan flag painted on that bat. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And he rips it out to left field. Extra bases here. All the way to the wall. Taken by Dahl. Into second base goes Martinez. And it's a 1-out double.
The hanging slider up there on the inner half. See the catcher. Good job though, hustling all the way. I think this is part of it right here, right? The bigger ballpark, you have to make an adjustment. You have to make an effort to get that extra base. So much room out there. A routine ground ball just to the left of the shortstop is an easy double. Same thing in right center. Down the lines, I think sometimes here that if you can limit the triples, you're doing a good job.
I would imagine if you're an everyday center fielder at this ballpark, by the end of the year, end of August, you're beat up.
Your legs are going to be tired and you're going to be down a few pounds for sure. I mean, just if we can pan out, even look at the gap in left center field right now. It cannot be an easy feeling for the center fielder to have to take charge on that ball.
I think the question would be over the 20+ years with the Rockies, if you're running this franchise, do you go out and get guys that can just flat out cover ground and use their speed, or do you say, yeah, the heck with it, we're going to go out and get guys that just mash the ball? If you can find both, that's ideal.
I like the blend, and I think the blend of maybe getting a bunch of guys that can work together, because this isn't a one-man show as far as getting a guy who's speedy out there. And you ever watch the guys with the most speed usually don't have the offense to go with it, so you're going to give up a little offense for that. I think that sometimes puts you in a little bit of hole offensively. So get 3 guys that can go out there and work together, cut down the gaps, and play together as a team. I think you have a much better advantage like that than to just go get a couple of young guys that can run.
Room on the right side and a 1-2 pitch to Tyler O'Neill.
I mean, if I'm looking at this defensive alignment right now, I'm thinking that Charlie Blackmon pretty much is on an island all by himself out there in the outfield. You got Gonzalez in almost pull mode right field as far back as he can get, and then the left fielder Dahl is all the way out in left field, deep as he can get too. It's a lot of work for a center fielder.
2-2 the count. Runner at second base, Jose Martinez. 4-0 our score. A late swing and O'Neill strikes out. Third strikeout for Senzatella. Full day of baseball tomorrow on Fox Sports Midwest and FS1. Cardinals continue their series with the Rockies. Coverage starts at 6:30. FS1 has a doubleheader. The Nats and the Mets at 2:30, followed by the Braves and Marlins at 6. And again, we come your way 6:30 here on Fox Sports Midwest. Here's Paul DeYoung. Now they have incorporated the humidor here for fans that are wondering about the ball traveling or thinking about breaking balls. If you're a curveball pitcher, what does it do to you? They're still in effect.
It definitely flattens out the spin, the break on the curveball and then slider. I think that's something, like I said, a job that Bud Black can work with the pitchers and trying to keep them in the game mentally and not get frustrated.
Trevor Story puts away DeYoung. We're midway through 3, and it's 4-0 Cardinals. Copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Tonight, Mikolas 9 of 10 first pitch strikes. His first pitch strike percentage is 70.9%. There's another one. That is the 11th best percentage by any pitcher since 1988. 1 ball and 1 strike. David Dahl, Nolan Arenado, and Carlos Gonzalez. That's pulled foul. With Jim Edmonds, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Erica Weston is with us. If you're wondering about Jim Hayes, he has the weekend off. He'll be back with us when we return home next week. Here's a 1-2. And pulled for a base hit into right field. And Dahl is 2 for 2, both coming with 2 strikes. The batter is Nolan Arenado. BP writer picture, the Cardinals this season, the first 100 games, 500. Last 28, a different story. Arenado single to left, first time up. Here's an 0-1 to Arenado, who has popped 30 home runs. Ooh, he was on it, fouled it back. Nothing at 2. Drove over to the ballpark today with Michael Wacha, who's back in uniform for the Cardinals, fresh off a rehab assignment at Palm Beach. His next stop will be either double or AAA, but he is probably 1 start away from rejoining the rotation of the Cardinals, maybe 2. He was telling me he's feeling much better, out with the oblique issue. I'm not sure if you ever had one of those, Jimmy, but Michael was saying it just was impossible, you know, to try to recover. He said you struggle even sleeping and breathing, and it was on his left side, not his right side, the throwing arm side.
Yeah, I think they're usually on the opposite side from pulling across your body. And yeah, I had a minor one, and you sneeze, you cough, you laugh, anything. It just makes it hard for it to get better.
Strikeout number 3. He said, man, I've been chomping at the bit to get back. He said, I'll tell you what. He said, I don't miss any of the games. I'm watching the LA series down in Florida because I don't want to miss out. So it's 2 or 3 in the morning down there. He said, it's so much fun watching these young guys do what they're doing and come together. You want to contribute. And I said, well, tell me a little bit about Mike Schilt. He said, we all love him. He said, we want to play hard for him. We appreciate him. And he's been able to pull this thing together.
Tell you what, that's half the battle, right? Getting the guys to play for you, like you. The communication is so tough, dealing with 25 or 30 different individuals from all ranges of age. I mean, you just really have to adapt, and you can't be stubborn. Mike's been doing it a long time, maybe not the big league level, but I don't think it really, you know, it's funny, we were sitting in his office today, and he was just, you ask him a question and he researches it, right? He flipped open those folders and went through all these papers, and he's prepared. Whether, like I said, it doesn't really change. Baseball is baseball, and if you're prepared, and you can get your team to play. It doesn't matter what level you're at. The preparation's still the same. You might actually have more stuff to do up here, but you have more access to everything. Probably makes your job a little bit easier, and you got to weed through the stuff that you might not need.
I said, how would you define yourself? Are you an analytics guy, old school manager, gut feel?
Best answer to that, not really sure.
Yeah, I'm still finding out. That's chopped up the middle, and it gets through Wong, and so it's runners at the corners now.
But candid, right? Candid, easy to talk to. He's doing a great job. He's getting a little bit of change in the attitude of this team, and like you said, you ask him a question, he answers it. He's got nothing to hide, and very accommodating to everyone so far.
I was just a fly on the wall when you guys were talking about Yadier Molina and your perspective as being a teammate, long time with Yadi, and then Mike Schilt saying how helpful Yadi has been. And to Mike's credit and Yadi's credit, it's an open relationship to where Yadi gives him a suggestion and Mike says, let's go for it.
Yeah, I think on every team, every year, even as a player, but especially as a manager, there's a guy on every team that's smart and knows what he's doing. You got to rely on that, because the manager can't know everything. He's not in the locker room with them every day. He's not out there on the field. And what better of a guy to have help you out than the guy who's catching every single pitch for you and is out there every day. And if he kind of gets a feel for the game, and he's going to let him know, and it's nice to be able to trust someone like that. And the track record speaks for itself. So, yeah, I think, like you said, having the courage or the smarts, I guess, for Mike Schilt to listen to his players from time to time, give them a chance to prove them wrong, it can go a long way.
1 ball and 1 strike. Mike was telling us a story of a recent game in which the numbers would tell you to make the move, to make the pitching change. And Story hits it out of play, and Yadier Molina said, if we execute the proper pitches on this particular hitter, we don't have to make that change. And Mike said, okay, let's do it. And they went and did it.
And I think the second part of that story is too, and Yadi's not going to say that with someone on the mound that he can't trust, that doesn't have control or doesn't have, you know, the feeling of he's still on top of his game. So that goes both ways. That's Yadi trusting what he's working with, and then Mike trusting Yadi with what they're working with.
I found it incredibly interesting. A lot of managers will just go out and say, well, no, this is how we're doing it. These are the numbers, and this particular player against our guy in the bullpen, he's owned him. Well, that particular guy in the bullpen had been used a lot, and so Mike just said, yeah, go for it, do it. And as you pointed out, rightfully so, if it doesn't work, have an answer, have a reason.
Be ready, just like Tony would tell you. He was going to give you an answer why he did what he did. And you know, sometimes I found it interesting too, talking about players. Sometimes you have to sacrifice maybe not the best move to save your players. You can't just keep running these young pitchers out there and wearing them out, risking injury. You know, you make a good move, you put a guy who's very qualified to be on the mound, or a guy at the box at the plate. They don't come through, they don't come through. You might lose that game, but you're definitely not losing a player or jeopardizing a career.
Here's a 3-2 pitch. Gonzalez, your runner at first. They don't start him. And the pitch, Martinez having trouble finding it. Now he does. The catch is made. They'll run on him. The throw to the plate, cut off by Carpenter. The throw home, and he's out. They got him. It's a double play. The Rockies run into the final out at the plate.
Look at that team down there. Every one of them is excited. All the way around, not just the right fielder, not just this. It's Colton Wong, everyone paying attention. Doing a great job right here of getting this out.
Hit the cut, then the tag, and everybody pumping fists. And Bader coming up. It's already a good example of the club doing a lot of little things right. Generating a run with Jerko at third base. Miles Mikolas up. Wong at first. Design play to get Wong in a rundown, and the catcher botched it. Jerko wound up scoring. That's fouled back. This is Cardinals baseball.
Well, I think it's something that goes unnoticed, as we'll talk about here in a second, is watching this team more into the game all the way around the field. On the field, off the field, the bench, coaches, doing the little things right, for sure.
Jerko may have hit the knob of the bat, I'm not sure. The pitch that was up and in. Yeah, Jerko just said, hit my bat. You could hear it up here, and if it wasn't the knob of the bat, it was his elbow.
Thank you very much for hitting the knob of the bat, not his hand.
Mentioned that this is a sellout, and now it's really filled up here at Coors Field. It's a big, big crowd on this Friday night in Denver. And the 0-2 pitch. He struggled with that breaking pitch tonight, hasn't he?
Yeah, it hasn't really done much for him. Especially if it's up, it stays up. That's part of the game here. You're not going to get that extra bite, so you have to be able to throw it where you want to throw it. If you leave it up, it's not going to come down.
That pitch low and outside, and Jerko apparently did go. Rung up by Corey Blazer.
Talking about everybody being involved in this game. Watch this play by Kolten Wong right here. This is something they haven't done in a long time. He's running out there. He realizes that ball's tough. Look at him pointing. He's like, this is where the ball is. That's supposed to be done, but that's an extra effort. And then obviously the run down here executed perfectly by Carp, Jerko, and then Molina. But those little things right there are what make a good team. And those are the things that weren't being done and haven't been done for a couple of years. And that means Kolten Wong is energized and in this game, and he is helping Martinez in right field. That goes unnoticed usually until something like that happens. But that's the way you're supposed to play the game. You're supposed to help your teammates, and if you're in the game, that's the thing. Those are the things that you do. And when you do them, they all pay off.
Wong with a single to center field. Scored on the Mikolas home run back in inning number 2. 4-0 Cardinals. And the next two, Kolten. 2 balls and 1 strike. Cardinals are 48-53 all time here in Denver. Lost 2 of 3 last year. They totaled just 7 runs in 3 games, which tied a franchise worst for total runs in a 3-game series in Colorado by St. Louis. That's pulled foul. Rockies just finished up a National League tying record of 46 straight games against teams above 500. How did they fare? They went 30-16. So this club is legitimate, no question about it.
Another breaking ball right there, slipped out of his hand. This other thing too, the element that we don't talk about is the humidity, the lack of humidity. Dry hands, no grip on the ball. Ball sliding out of the hand a little bit. I mean, just when you come here after you're here for a day or two, you start to look for something for lotion for your hands, or you feel dry just being here for 3 days. Imagine being here the whole year. Definitely can make it tough on the pitcher for the grip on the baseball, which breaking ball and slider would be tough to hold on to.
And the Cardinals catching the Rockies, playing some of their best baseball, winners of 10 of the last 12. 3-2 pitch, and Wong, a base hit going the other way. Thinking 2 out of the box, and he'll stop at first base. As a matter of fact, Colorado, they have 3 walk-off wins in their past 5 home games. That usually has a way of picking up a team and carrying over to the next day and the day after that. One out single by Colton Wong, and there's what they've done against teams above 500. The batter is Harrison Bader. Let's see what the Cardinals want to do here. This combination, they've been trying to put Wong in play, straight steals, hit and run, those types of things. Bader came up first time with 1 out. Runners at first and third, and struck out. So 2 of the hottest teams in baseball going at it this weekend. Cardinals 8 straight series wins. Last time St. Louis won at least 8 straight series single season following the break was in 2009. They added Mark DeRosa and they added Matt Holliday that year. Here's an 0-2 pitch. Instead of check on Wong. And the pebble is back in safely. Outside and high. '25th anniversary for the Rockies. They opened up, they played at Mile High, and EY Eric Young with a home run to start their franchise, and one of many to come.
It's amazing it's been that long already.
Yeah, really is. Boy, you think about, how they've tried to win here. Denny Nagel, Mike Hampton, Darryl Kyle. They had the Blake Street Bombers, so they would hit and outslug teams. Now a combination of sinker ballers, good defense, speed in the outfield, and the 1-2. 2-2. When you were playing before the humidor, you could just pencil in at least minimum 3.5 hours and probably combine 15 to 20 runs.
I was going to say above 10. Some fun home runs to watch.
You had a couple in the upper deck in one game here.
Some fun home runs to hit.
Did guys just salivate, the offensive players, knowing you had 3 games here?
Yeah, you talked about it, but it's funny because I always found it tough to see the ball here, especially during the day. The sun goes down late. It doesn't really get dark here until middle way through the game. But once it does and you get a feel, it felt like it was hard to adjust. Talking about the backdrop being so big and so far away. It definitely is an adjustment when you only come here once a year. But yeah, once you get adjusted and get some pitches to hit, it definitely makes for more fun baseball for the hitters.
They've had some great hitters here. Andres Galarraga, Dante Bichette, Larry Walker, Todd Helton, Tulowitzki. And that's driven out to right, backing up Cargo over his head. Wong to third, throwing to second base. It's a double for Bader. Runners at second and third with 1 out.
And that's that line drive I'm talking about right there. It looked like a line drive that maybe the right fielder was going to play. Colton Wong really couldn't take off running with one out. The ball just kept carrying and carrying and carrying. If you look at it right here, it just doesn't come down.
No. Colton had to make sure it wasn't caught. I would say my partner enjoyed it here. 28 games, 316 average, and 11 home runs in 28 games. That's some damage. Infield brought in for Miles Mikolas, who homered his first time up, and a long one. Chops it to third. Arenado to the plate, and Wong is out. Off with contact, even with the infield in. So the Gold Glover put it away. Wong was off with the pitch and contact. So there's 2 outs. Runners at first and second for Matt Carpenter. I will say this too. I remember a lot of games, either the Rockies or the Cardinals would get out 4 or 5 nothing, and you'd be at this point in the game and you'd say,
a long way to go.
Yeah, nothing is safe in this ballpark. First and second.
I'm really sure I'm loving that contact play right there. If I look back, the book says contact, right? Got the infield in, got second and third and 1 out. Pitcher's up, chances of him hitting the ball hard or through, not likely. I've been in situations where LaRusso's literally told the pitcher, do not swing. Take that out, take your chance. Now you got Matt Carpenter up with 2 strikes or 2 outs, let's say. And if they walk him, you have Yadi Molina to the plate with the bases loaded. So, I mean, I'm not trying to second guess, but sometimes you just have to like look at that like, is there a better play or is there a better way to react to that with the infield in? I think the Rockies did a great job right there, playing it the right way as far as taking my chances with the pitcher not hitting the ball on the money and giving the infielders a play to make and cut down the run.
See if Carpenter gets a cookie here. He's about due to go on another tear. He's ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. He's grounded into the shift and he is struck out. He's sitting on 34 home runs. And Carpenter hits it sharply to second, but McMahon makes the play. Cardinals strand a pair. They've left 3 on. We move to the bottom of the 4th, and it's 4-0. Barnes Jewish Hospital and Washington University physicians, national leaders in medicine. And try something different, like Jack's Teriyaki Bowls, only at Jack in the Box for a limited time. Let's check in with Erica.
Tsunami, Polly, Guacamole. Dan, those are just some of the Players Weekend nicknames we're seeing on the guys' jerseys tonight. One of the more popular ones you see on social media, that was Tots. You spoke about Harrison Bader earlier today from his friend in New York City. But Matt Adams, of course, otherwise known as Big City, one of the more popular nicknames. It's pretty much all we know him as. But he said, if the viewers don't know, it is from Lance Berkman back in the day. He said he was tired of the big guys always being called Big Country, so he threw a twist on it with some shade on his small town he was from. David Freese kept it going, and he said it just stuck, guys.
And Matt was showing me his cleats before the game, and he's got Big City on the cleats and the arch with the city skyline.
That was quick.
He said, check out these babies.
Tell you what, the guys are happy to have him back. He is a good person to have around on and off the field.
I was talking with him in the clubhouse, and he said it still has not sunk in. It's surreal that I'm back in St. Louis. He loves not only the Cardinals, the team that drafted him, but he loves the city. He's got a house and a place that he stays in the offseason in St. Louis. You'll see him working out and going to Blues games. Quick pitch by Miles. Haven't seen that from Miles this year.
I thought he was falling down when he went back. I was like, what is he doing?
He might have been. Yeah, normally pretty deliberate with his.
Really slow.
Yeah, his
that
delivery.
was with one strike too. It wasn't like it was 2 strikes and he was looking for the strikeout.
Ian Desmond at the plate, hit the walk-off homer against the Padres yesterday. And a grounder on a hop to short. One away. Kick off your Labor Day weekend at Busch. Cardinals host the Reds Friday, August 31st. And for a limited time, fans can purchase specially priced $10 tickets. And each ticket will be loaded with $10 cards cash to spend on concessions or merchandise. This offer ends on Sunday. Those are $10 tickets now at cardinals.com/flash sale. I'd have to imagine that beginning next week, we're going to have some pretty big crowds at Busch Stadium. City buzzing about the Cardinals.
Would hope so.
Cardinals have Pittsburgh and Cincinnati coming through. Off day on Monday. Annual Albert Pujols golf tournament Monday, and then Pittsburgh first of 3. And then we'll see Cincinnati over the weekend. The Cardinals, after this road trip, 19 of 31 at home. Get those tickets. It's going to be a fun, wild ride in September. 1-2 the count on McMahon. Single to left, and a pitch in the dirt. 2-2. Thinking of September, rosters expand. You're talking about Adam Wainwright, Michael Wacha, maybe some others coming up. What has been now a bullpen that has come together, ERA wise, the best in baseball over the last month. Mikolas regroups, flips to Carpenter for the out. Nice play. So good to see Michael back. Well, Erica said it, and I was like, what? We both looked at each other. Guacamole?
She was just rolling with it.
Just rolling.
Well,
rolls off the tongue. Guacamole.
I guess not.
See on the side there, the sleeve influences mom and dad. That to me is the best part of the jersey. The stories behind those on the sleeve. I'm going to try to find out more tomorrow on some of those. The story behind every one of these guys out there, influences that got them to the big leagues. Tony Walters singled into right first time up on a ball that Jose Martinez had issues with trying to pick it up. Puerto Rico.
Pretty good pitch right there. It's interesting when you watch the games over the course of time and see umpires giving a little bit off the edge but won't call the corner depending on how the catcher catches it or where he's set up. And see, Mikolas has been all over the zone, in and out, up and down, and just not getting certain pitches.
And a grounder softly hit to Carpenter. Takes it himself, steps on the bag. And a 1-2-3 for Miles Mikolas. Molina, Martinez, O'Neill coming up. Fans 16 and older can look and feel like a pro in a home white embroidered jersey, courtesy of TD Ameritrade. Get your tickets for the September 1st Cardinals Reds game at cardinals.com/promotions. The batter is Yadier Molina. Fly to center, popped out to first. When Yadi was going through his game played streak, which was almost a full month in which he played every day, I was talking with John Mozeliak, the president of baseball operations, and he said one thing that you have to remember about Yadi that people will not understand is that the next day early, Yadi's in the gym. Yadi's working out, getting his work in. Then he's to the ballpark early, looks at video, the opposition, his pitcher, maybe himself, then gets ready for the game, plays the game, and it's rinse and repeat, and that's what he does.
Groundhog Day.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would surprise people, though, to hear that he works out so early in the morning just to keep himself in good condition, ready to play, and now he picks up a base hit into right center. You saw it firsthand. I mean, the guy is incredible. The fact that he answers the bell day after day.
Yeah, it's something that you have to put your mind to. You really have to just work at your craft one way or the other. And sometimes it takes a lot of work. And when you're on the road and you sneak into the gym, you'll see Yadi Molina in the gym at the hotel, or he'll be walking down the street to the gym, the closest gym in the neighborhood there. So it's not just at home either, where it's convenient.
Here's Jose Martinez. Can I get into the Michael Wacha nickname?
I would love to hear it. You're going to have to. You're going to have to go down there and find out, because the cat is not here.
Well, Erica did have the report on Guacamole, which is correct. He does go by Guacamole. Now, this is one of the more unique names in that clubhouse. Base hit into right. Molina to second, and he'll stop there. Throw goes into third. So the first important detail is the pronunciation. So guacamole rhymes with guacamole, as opposed to the arcade game where you take the hammer to the mole. His quote is, "I got called guacamole by Carlos Martinez when I first met him 5 years ago. It just kind of stuck." It's a good one, and it's known around the clubhouse now. Now there's still some confusion, though. The name shorted up to just Mole. That makes for some funny encounters. Carlos will just be like, "Hey, Mole," Wacha said, and people will look and be really confused, so they don't understand why he's calling him Mole. So you just have to explain that it comes from guacamole. There you go.
I think we're better off not knowing.
Well, you wanted the explanation. You said
You're right. You
asked
what
for
they say,
it.
right? Be careful what you ask for. Sorry, everyone. My fault.
Well, back-to-back singles here for the Cardinals. Activity in the Rockies bullpen, a lefty getting loose. They have two in their pen. Tyler O'Neill, a solo home run and a strikeout. O'Neill now with 31 home runs combined, AAA and Major League Baseball. 5 here with the Cardinals. One and two the count. O'Neill sends it into left center. That ball is down. One run is in. That's Molina chugging home, and Martinez held up. The throw not in time. Molina scores, and Tyler O'Neill has a double to make it 5-0.
Another nice short swing. Just ball take off again. You can say it. You can't say it enough. Right off the bat, Yadi thinks that ball's going to tail back to the center fielder. Looks like a line drive, and all of a sudden it's short hopping the wall 415 feet away.
See Yadi kind of shrug his shoulders like, well, I didn't know if he was going to catch it or not.
Off the bat, it kind of looked that way, and I even thought the same thing. It's like, oh, don't get too crazy out there, and then literally is taking one hop off the wall.
Runners now at second and third. The infield drawn in. A 5-0 Cardinals lead. Nobody out. Paul DeYoung at the plate. Paul DeYoung made his major league debut at this ballpark. And the 0-1 hit high in the air. Charlie Blackmon with the catch. Martinez will stay put. The B1 down. Fox Sports Midwest proud to support Adam Wainwright's Big League Impact Foundation. That's August 31st. Play catch on the field toward the Cardinals clubhouse. Join Adam and his teammates. Fantasy football draft in the Champions Club. Tickets are limited, so visit bigleagueimpact.com to buy your seat today. Adam has done some remarkable work both in St. Louis and outside the U.S. Here's Jed Jerko. Cardinals want to get at least one in this spot. Jerko has walked and scored. Struck out on a check swing. Two and 0. And a high fly ball lifted out to deep left field. Dahl back at the wall. It is off the wall and off the glove. It's not caught on a ball that could have been caught. It looked like, regardless, a run scores. He was back and it looked like he was under it.
I think he thought it was going to keep on carrying. Jumped up on the wall and then realized it was coming down. I don't see this very often. Maybe jumped up there a little early.
Oh boy. That's career hit number 600 for Jed Jerko. Senzatella couldn't believe it. And then he had to go back up.
Well,
that's going to be it.
He didn't get a very good grip on the wall the first time. If he hangs up there, he actually probably still can catch that ball, even though he overjumped it.
Chris Russin coming into the ball game to face the Pebble when we come back. Righties have had their way with him. The lefties 221 the average. And Russin will face the Pebble coming up with runners at second and third. After the double hit by Jed Jerko, David Dahl climbing the wall thinking that he might be taking a home run away. Instead, it drops and it turns into a double for Jerko, which was hit number 600. His first hit was April 1st, 2013. And his manager was Bud Black. Tonight collects number 600 against Bud Black. Wong 2 for 2. Infield drawn in. Cardinals trying to add to a 6-0 lead. And Wong hits a fly ball into left center. That's David Dahl with the catch. Scoring O'Neill 7-0.
It's a really good job by Colton Wong. This is something we talk about all year long, about how to try to approach getting that runner in from third base. And my approach would be, and always was, try to get it done with. Just get the run in, especially in those situations. And take a ball, take it up the middle, try to hit a lazy fly ball, and just get it over with.
Let's go back to that ball in left field, Jimmy. You're an 8-time Gold Glover. Teachable moment here for young fans. Dahl climbing the wall. I mean, obviously not what he wants to do, but you got to find a place out there, don't you?
Yeah, but I'm willing to bet, though, if he is able to stick up on that wall, he catches that ball with no problem. But I mean, that's a tweener, right? And everybody falls in love with catching home runs, and he thought he was going to have his opportunity. I thought he timed it well, but that yellow padding not connected to the top of the wall that well, and I don't think he was throwing that into the mix. But in a normal ballpark, when you stick up on that wall right there, you stay there long enough to catch that ball. Unfortunate, and when it looks bad, it looks really bad. At least he didn't jump up on the wall and it land on the grass.
Saw that earlier this year.
Seen a lot of stuff this year.
So runners at first and second after the intentional pass of Bader, who has doubled tonight. Mikolas has hit a 2-run homer. And he grounds it to short. Story and a force play to McMahon. Cardinals pick up 3 more, and they have a 7-0 lead midway through 5. Of the Blues icebreaker from Ballpark Village. Introduce Ryan O'Reilly, Tyler Bozak, and many others to the Blues fans for the first time. You'll get a first look at the 3rd jersey used this year. Blues icebreaker coverage Sunday after the Cardinals postgame on Fox Sports Midwest. Our Budweiser What's on Tap. It's John Gant tomorrow. Last 3 starts, an ERA just over 2. He's cut down on the walks, and he'll be your Budweiser What's on Tap. So Miles Mikolas with a lead of 7 runs. Parr will pinch hit for Russin. Talked about it in the previous series at Busch Stadium. Here's a guy that has really had the Cardinals numbered. .471 average his last 10 games against St. Louis. You can see him stay in the ball game and take over in left. On the bench, Matt Holliday. Had some amazing moments in St. Louis. He talked about that with Erica, winning a championship in 2011. There's a base hit into center. I think about the game that we did his final weekend, and we thought it might be the final at bat of his Cardinal career, and some of us were privy to the fact that he was not going to be coming back to St. Louis. It had not been made public, and Cardinals are just trying to figure out a way to get him recognized. And if you remember, they were still in the race, and he comes up with tears rolling down his cheeks. And a magical moment, September 30th of 2016, as he hit a home run. It's unbelievable. One of the best moments in baseball or sports I can remember. And the funny part about it, Matt and I were talking about it last night, is that he actually had an at-bat the next day and got a base hit to right field. An emotional moment there. I can't tell you how many families and young kids have come up to me and said, "Do you know that Matt Holliday visited my son or my daughter after a game unannounced?" Did it all the time. Sick kids in the hospital. Started the Homers for Health program, which has raised millions of dollars in St. Louis. Driven out to deep right center, and the Rockies will get on the board with a long home run. Charlie Blackmon, number 23.
It's just a rolling breaking ball. It wasn't actually that bad of a pitch, but right into Charlie Blackmon's wheelhouse, and hits his ball a long way. Maybe the only mistake of the night so far.
Here's David Dahl. .422 feet, the distance of that home run. That's 4 feet shy of the home run hit by Mikolas, by the way.
And the other way, too, by Mikolas. And I'm going to have to say that that ball went further that Charlie just hit. To the eye.
Backhanded by Carpenter, stays with it to the bag, and Mikolas is there. First time that David Dahl has been retired. That's the first out here in the bottom of the 5th. You know, that weekend with Matt Holliday too was the Cardinals still in contention. They had to win that entire weekend to stay alive, and eventually they were eliminated on that Sunday. And the game that and the teams they were chasing, that game finished early, so they knew they were eliminated on the final day. And I thought Mike Matheny and his staff and the team did a wonderful thing about having Holliday go out to left field by himself. There's a drive. Deep left field. O'Neill back. He'll look up, and it's gone. Arenado with home run number 31. And like we have talked about, no lead ever safe in this ballpark.
No, sir. There's a long way to go in this game.
Another pitch up.
Like a little bit of a slider right there.
Here's Cargo, who is 1 for 2 with a single and a strikeout. Another hittable pitch. Any pro athlete would say, I'd love to go out on my own terms and not be forced out of the game because of diminishing skills or can't get along with the club, whatever. There's a base hit into right off the bat of Cargo, and he'll stop. And Holliday saying he's not sure if he'll retire, he was telling me, but one thing he will do, he said, is take in every minute and enjoy this. You grind so hard as a major league player, as Mike Maddox will slow down Mikolas, but he said, you know, for 14, 15 years, I come to the ballpark and it's stressful, it's a grind, physically, mentally, and one of the things I want to do is enjoy this. And I hope that both the Cardinals, he said, both the Cardinals and Rockies get into postseason play, and he said then that would be a lot of fun, and see how it all turns out.
Yeah,
but what a class act.
The way he came back now, not the pressure and being the starting left fielder, can enjoy it a little bit more, get some starts, get some pinch hits, but really be a force in that locker room. And hopefully that's what he can enjoy the most. Stress-free, just go out there and play when he gets a chance.
Only the third time this year he's allowed multiple home runs in one game. First time this year to happen in one inning. Mike Myers up in the Cardinal bullpen. So after Mikolas hit that home run, he was breathing so hard in the Cardinal dugout. I mean, it's just different here. It takes a lot out of the players.
It's hard to catch your breath. The air is so much thinner. Like I said, you get sore quicker.
Ten hits aside, 7-3 our score. And the 1-1. Past Wong into right field. Wong was playing towards second base. That's 5 hits for the Rockies here in the 5th. They got something going. I'd say this too, Jimmy. It's not only about this ballpark, but the Rockies have a lineup that's pretty unforgiving too.
Yeah, the second, third time around now, just getting better swings on Miles when the ball's up in the zone. Noticed early in the game they were getting a little antsy and swinging maybe early in the count. And now they're kind of settled in and kind of got a feel for what he's trying to do and get a little bit more patient.
Ian Desmond, runners at first and third. Miles would love the double play and regroup. One ball and one strike. Desmond is grounded into 9 double plays this year. Jason Shreve has joined Myers. This crowd back into it. Shreve there on the right, the left-hander. And a 3-1 pitch. Instead of check on the runner at first, and that's Trevor Story. He's got 19 stolen bases. Could see him off with this pitch. Not running, and the pitch is hit to third. Backing up Jerko, the turn by Wong. Not in time, and the ball gets away as a run does score. And with that, Desmond is second, now on his way to third, standing up.
Tough play by Colton Wong right there, just trying to do anything he can. Get that ball to first base and just throws it straight in the ground.
Ryan McMahon now at the plate. 7-4 our score. Desmond, your runner at third base. McMahon is 1 for 2. 82 pitches for Mikolas, and we've seen that Mike Shield not shy about going to his bullpen early.
He's trying so hard to get him to the 5th inning right now to get him that chance for the W.
Nothing in 2. Cardinals have the top of the lineup coming up in the 6th. Never allowed more than 4 earned runs in a game this season. Scherzer, Trevor Bauer, Garrett Cole, DeGrom, Nola, Mikolas, starters this year, 25 or more starts. 4 earned runs or fewer, all starts. He's part of that group.
Some big names on that list.
Yep. Two balls and 2 strikes on McMahon. And a fly ball that will maybe drop. It does. It's now 7-5. That may be it. I mean, Mike Shield, again, not shy about going to his bullpen at all. So Mikolas not able to get through 5. That's a season high 5 runs, all coming in this inning. So Shreve coming on to face Tony Walters when we come back. 15 and younger entering with a ticket. Take home their very own Cardinals Bear, presented by Build-A-Bear Workshop. Cardinals.com/promotions. A big inning for Colorado with 5 runs. It's now a 2-run deficit. Tying run at the plate. Chasen Shreve, or Chevy, called to the pen. He gets Walters, who is 1 for 2 with a base hit to right field. 9th man to come to the dish. First pitch out to center, and Bader is there. Big inning for the Rockies. Shreve, though, it's the final out. Remarkable story just to be pitching in the big leagues. Early December of 2016, diagnosed with testicular cancer and surgery, did not get it all. And in March, he required massive chemotherapy. And August 14th of last year, almost a year ago, he returned with 7 scoreless innings against Atlanta, where some thought he might not even make it. Not only did he make it and beat cancer, but came back to pitch in the big leagues. This year, it's been a lot of blister issues that he's had. He's become very close with Jameson Taillon, who has had the similar situation with testicular cancer, and a great story, and wonderful to see him back pitching. Chad Bettis. He'll get the top of the lineup. Carpenter, Molina, and Martinez. The Rockies, by the way, average just over 5 runs a game at home, so this is no surprise. 5th in baseball this year, but worst in team history with this lineup. Some Cardinal fans making noise here at Coors Field. 7-5 our score. Carpenter twice is grounded out to second, also struck out. And pulls it foul. Not by much. .34 home runs, and now 3 ahead of Nolan Arenado. Here's a 1-1. Slowly hit towards second, gloved by McMahon, and the out.
Went a little over budget? We understand. Great Southern Bank. We're fans too.
Yadier Molina 1 for 3 with a run scored. And that pitch taken high. Fly to center, popped out to first, and a very good play made by Ian Desmond. Foul territory. Two and one. A 3-1 pitch. 3-2. Last at bat was hit number 100 on the year for Yadier Molina. It's now 11 straight years of at least 100 hits. Consistency. Jammed him a bit. Hit to third. Arenado makes the play. With 2 outs, the batter is Jose Martinez, 2 for 3. He's now 8 for 14 against the Rockies. Up and in. Coffee related nicknames the norm in the Martinez household. Cafe, a way to honor his late father. That was his nickname. He said even when his father was playing and he was a young boy, people would always say, "You look like your dad." If you ever seen him swing, run, how they hit, it's all the same. Hits it down the right field line, and a foul ball. Said it's an honor for me to wear his nickname on my jersey. We talk about trying to market the stars of Major League Baseball. A lot was made of Mike Trout in the All-Star game, but this is one way you do it. You find out more about the players in uniform.
Make it interesting, tell their story. Played against his dad in Venezuela in winter ball one year.
Here's a 1-2. Spoiled, hit down the right field line, and a foul ball, and a great attempt there by Cargo, and he hops right back up. He's okay. Good effort. Well, I've seen the home run that he hit, which is the famous ball that was hit off the top of Jose Canseco's head. Yeah, and it went over the wall, and you watch them run and swing. It's identical. Same body types.
Little different personality though.
What was Dad like?
Dad was a mean dude.
Was he really?
Yeah, he was a good old-fashioned, tough baseball player. Probably not mean if you knew him, but one of those guys you didn't want to play against.
One ball and 2 strikes on Jose Martinez. Inside.
His dad hit a home run against us in Venezuela at our ballpark, and I think it was a big home run. And he stopped at home plate and blew kisses to the crowd. And the whole stadium erupted and started throwing bottles and cans and everything at him. They had to stop the game for about 15 minutes. I was looking at what was going on, thinking, what did I get myself into?
Story gets it before the short hop, and the Cardinals go 1-2-3. Fans for both the Cardinals and the Rockies on their feet for Matt Holliday. No one sitting right now. Many of those fans standing ovation and still standing as some now begin to sit.
Not too often you get a ovation from the home and the away team.
Pretty cool. Here's a 1-0. Holliday thought that was in. He did have a couple of plate appearances in yesterday's game. Was hitless. His numbers with the Rockies. The 1-1. Always will be remembered for his slide play-in game against San Diego and Bud Black. Some believe if you're wearing that purple and black, oh yeah, he was safe. Others are saying absolutely not, he never touched the plate. The 1-2, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes, and here it is. That's Brian Giles in right. And a famous slide in Rockies history. It's game number 163. 2007, they had that remarkable run. And they would win 9-8 in 13 innings. Hits that out of play. Padres scored 2 in the top of the 13th. And then against Trevor Hoffman, the Rockies tied the game. Holliday on third. That was Jamie Carroll at the plate. Brian Giles with that throw. Michael Barrett was catching. Tim McClellan called Holliday safe. One of the more famous moments in Rockies history. The 2-2. Holliday into center and a base hit. First hit as a Rocky since September 25th of 2008. Those two right there, very close. Matt Holliday, Matt Carpenter, the best of friends. And Holliday telling me last night he thinks Matt Carpenter's the MVP. I said I'd have to throw in Nolan Arenado into the conversation, but it's those two. Strike to Blackmon, who was homered a 2-run shot back in inning number 5.
Strike zone's getting a little bit wider. Umpire's getting a little tired. It's a long game.
Very short lead at first by Holliday. And an 0-1 pitch to Blackmon. Two and one. Missed on the outside corner. 3-1, and now one swing of the bat. This game is tied.
Never safe here. Never safe with the lead.
Runners at first and second. "23 hits in this game, and now it's time for Built for Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. Back on August 2nd, by the way, it was Senzatella and Mikolas. That's the matchup we've had here tonight. Senzatella went 6 innings, Mikolas 7. Well, tonight, Mikolas 4 2/3, Senzatella 4 1/3. That's Coors Field for you.
Not over yet. A long way to go, as I've said before.
David Dahl at the plate. Carlos Martinez throwing in the Cardinals bullpen. And that will be his role from here on out in 2018. Martinez pitched against the Dodgers. Successful return, but he did take a line drive off his sternum, knocked the wind out of him. But thankfully, he was all right. One ball and 2 strikes. Dahl, fly ball, racing in Bader with the catch. Hung up there, and Bader makes the play in center field. His knee stuck into the grass, and let's hope he's all right. Sometimes you don't slide, you just stick, and that can hurt.
Talk about the singles and base and balls giving you trouble here. This ball almost falls in. Harrison makes a nice play, but it's a long way to go right there for almost a routine fly ball.
And with Arenado coming up, Carlos Martinez coming in. We're in the 6th. It's 7-5. championship Budweiser beer stein, celebrating the 1982 World Series. That's next Friday. Cardinals.com/promotions. Runners at first and second. Carlos Martinez into the ball game. Chevy called to the pen. His second relief appearance. Second time he's done this at Coors Field as a reliever. First time was back in 2013. Now, he did have a start here last year, and he was magnificent. He gets Nolan Arenado with 2 runners on. He's homered tonight. That was back in the 5th inning.
It's a chance right here for Martinez to come out of the bullpen and let it fly. Got nothing to lose. Kind of lost his starting job and got all that firepower underneath that arm. Let it go.
The Cardinals talked about if Martinez came back, and if it was as a starter, you know, you're losing valuable time, and time is of the essence. So put him in the bullpen and get the most you can out of him. 7-5 Cardinals. Jumped out to a 7-0 lead. Rockies picked up 5 back in the 5th. The 2-1. 2-2. He got him. Took something off it and struck him out.
Pretty good slider right there. Nice and tight. Stayed down. Challenged Arenado with a couple of fastballs. And made a good pitch on that slider. Didn't get it where he wanted it, but still nasty.
In his career as a reliever, the average fastball for Martinez right around 97 miles per hour. As a starter, roughly 95. As you mentioned, he can let it fly coming out of the bullpen.
Kind of surprised to see 93 and 91.
Carlos Gonzalez with a couple of singles tonight.
Hoping that was a good changeup.
Cardinals have options to give Mike Shildt pitchers with potentially multi-innings game after game. And that's Carlos Martinez.
Good news too for Mike Shildt making this run at the end of the year. You got about 7 days, 8 days before you can call up some troops and kind of keep an eye on that bullpen, keep everyone fresh. Don't beat people up too much, but you got 1 week right now to kind of do everything you can to keep that bullpen going.
That'll carry to Bader. He makes the catch, and Martinez is able to strand 2. It stays 7-5. Budweiser. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. And by Ford, going further so you can. Beautiful ballpark here in Denver. The Lodo area, which has been remade in the last 20-25 years because of this ballpark being the central point of it, but all the bars and restaurants and business coming back to this area of downtown. A lot of fun, neat place, and a lot of Cardinal fans here too. Oberg is into the ball game to face Tyler O'Neill, Paul DeYoung, and Jed Jerko. Scott Oberg, 39th appearance in our Chevy Colt to the pen. You know, for many fans, they'll remember the only baseball that was west of the Mississippi, the Cardinals, for a long, long time. Now, you did have minor league baseball in this area and certainly out west in California, but not Major League Baseball. And so the fans out here, their connection to the big leagues was through KMOX radio, that booming signal of 1120. Listening to Harry Carey and Joe Garagiola and Jack Buck for so many years. Gateway Honda home run inning. Gateway Honda dealers will donate $1,000 if the Cardinals hit a home run here in the 7th. So you have a lot of fans that are from this area, Boulder, surrounding areas, Rocky Mountains, that grew up with Cardinals baseball. That pitch taken high. Rockies came into existence 25 years ago. Mile High Stadium. Over 80,000 people on that opening day. The 2-2. Tyler O'Neill is homered tonight, a solo shot back in the 2nd. He struck out in the 3rd. And a double to left center back in the 5th, and that scored a run. He has scored 2 and driven in 2. And now a 3-2 pitch here in the top of the 7th to O'Neill. Struck him out. Crowd tonight of 43,578. Big crowd. 43578.
It's a big place to fill up. Do a pretty good job of it. Still want to climb to the top of center field up there and see what that's like. It looks like it's a long way away from watching a baseball game.
It is. I've been there.
Have you?
Yeah. Here's DeYoung. He's 0 for 3.
Some of the more unique stands in all of baseball, I think. Way up there in center field. A couple blocks down the street. On the other side of the overpass.
Our younger fans probably wouldn't believe this, but there were games that actually were not televised. When I started doing games, I think we probably were televising maybe 60 to 80 of the Cardinal games, and so day games especially not televised. But we'd wait with the team to travel to the next city, be a day getaway ball game, and I'd go take it up in the bleachers.
Did you really?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I'd always try to go take in different parts of the ballpark.
Good for you. I've walked in a couple of ballparks in the last year or two that I've never been in the stands before.
Strikeout of DeYoung.
Wrigley Field in particular.
Now that's a madhouse. Nissan drive of the game, and this double hit by Jed Jerko brought in a run back in inning number 5, and nearly a 3-run homer. Baby Doll climbing the wall and didn't have to, and it might be a difference maker tonight. We'll see. Strike to Jerko.
You have such a fond nickname of the left fielder for the Rockies. That's what you've been calling him?
Only on Players Weekend.
You have him in your phone as Baby Doll?
No, I don't. I think you're in my phone as Ball Game. I'd have to look. Here's the 0-2.
You can definitely watch the game and get a feel for how much tougher and more uncomfortable the at-bats are when the velocity rises. You can see people kind of more of a fight, especially behind in the count.
Another 1-2. And Jerko lifts it in the air to left field. And Baby Doll with the catch. Baby Doll, nice play. Five in favor of the Cardinals. Just joined as Cardinals jumped out to a 7-0 lead. Rockies a 5-run fifth. Mikolas and Senzatella did not go deep. Tyler O'Neill 2 for 4. Blackmon 1 for 3 with a 2-run homer. That gets you caught up, and now it's Carlos Martinez. He was able to get the final 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th with 2 runners on. Starts with a clean inning here. Story, Desmond, and McMahon. We're talking to Mike Shield in his office before the game about situations like this where you start thinking about not only this inning but down the road, matchups, things that could happen going good or bad. Are you prepared? There's not much you're going to get by that guy. Seen a lot of baseball over his time.
He's got a good weapon right here in Carlos Martinez. If he's on and throwing well, he can easily carry you into the 9th inning. You have some guys down there that are tired. Give them another day off.
Here's a 1-2 pitch and a strikeout of Story. Spun around. Strikeout number 2 for Carlos Martinez.
So what that sinker does for you as a righty, start to cheat a little bit, and then you get the slider away and can't hold up.
Games of interest: Toronto over the Phillies 4-2. Chicago beat Cincinnati. The Mets over Washington. 1 out and a strike to Ian Desmond. Pittsburgh and Milwaukee, they're tied 4-4. That's in the 9th inning. Dodgers are all over San Diego 7-0 in the 4th. And Seattle leading Arizona 6-1 in the 6th. The 1-1. But that sink, that movement. And the 1-2. I like the pace. I like the body language here of Martinez.
When he came out of the pen at first, I didn't think we would see that. A little frustration. Kind of a couple pitches just kind of flipped in there, and then all of a sudden he's picking up the pace.
And the 1-2. Got him. Held on to by Molina. Tags out Desmond for the out. Back-to-back strikeouts. So Martinez has come in and seen 4 hitters and struck out 3. I'm telling you, you think about a weapon. As long as he buys in, which we haven't heard otherwise. I'm telling you what, Jimmy, this guy's a weapon coming out of the pen.
I mean, if you look at, see that slider right there that Ian Desmond swung at is not even anywhere close. That just goes to show you what's going through a hitter's mind, what he's expecting to see to get somebody to swing at pitches like that.
Ryan McMahon 2 for 3. And a fly ball to Bader, came in, now goes back and makes the catch. So good work by Martinez sends us to inning number 8. Seven, 8, 9 for St. Louis. Colton Wong 2 for 2. Drove in a run. And the Pebble will dig in here in the 8th. My partner's shaking his head. Scott Oberg, his 2nd inning of work. Some of the players, they're, putting a nickname on the back, no big deal. Other players really get into it. And You know, the idea for baseball is to promote, kind of take you back to the fun of the game. As Wong picks up a base hit into right center, thinking 2 out of the box again, and he'll stop. Blackmon gets it back in quickly. 3rd hit tonight for Colton Wong.
Nice job by Colton, making an adjustment, not over swinging, running hard all the way around. I'll tell you what, it would have been bang bang at second base.
Now here's a question if you're Mike Schilt. You got Bader here, and Matt Adams has moved to the on-deck circle. The way things have gone with Carlos Martinez, would you sacrifice the potential of damage for offense to give Carlos another inning?
That's a tough question. As La Russa used to say, that's why I have the office and you have the locker.
Got it. Now you do have, Mike was telling us before the game, Hicks should be ready. Norris should be ready. If they could avoid Dakota Hudson potentially, even though they think he could pitch, but he'd be one of those guys that you might stay away from. So Big City on deck.
I think you also maybe take that chance right here with Matt Adams hitting in this ballpark. Especially with that number. I mean, he's got nothing but good things coming out of him.
You okay with Big City having 15?
Yeah, I might have to get that jersey from him after.
Be kind of cool.
Big City.
Now they do have another lefty in their bullpen, and you might think about that if you've got Big City coming up and Matt Carpenter. Something to think about. Bud Black's side of things. Runner goes, that's Wong, and out. Hit and run, and Bader could not put it in play.
Now, if everything goes south, then I might think about maybe leaving Martinez out there.
That's something to think about now with nobody on. Nothing in 2 the count on Bader. On base twice with a double and an intentional walk. Heard a nice ovation, a big ovation from both fan bases for Holliday, and the Cardinal fans I'm sure will give a nice ovation coming up here to Matt Adams. A lot of Cardinal fans here tonight. And the 1-2 pitch. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I actually think Matt Adams was 15 in Washington.
And he went a strikeout of Bader. Ollie Marmol talking to the first base umpire Corey Blazer, and here's Big City. Numbers at Coors, good in 11 games with 4 home runs, 12 runs batted in. He's talked about this being surreal back in St. Louis. Shift on. And a bouncer to first. And City is aboard. Went through 2 of them. And Matt Adams is aboard. still has not been ruled one way or another.
Tough play right there. He allowed himself to get in the in-between hop. Sometimes your instincts right out of the gate are the best, and that's to go get that ball.
Get it on the short hop. Don't let it play you.
Yeah, well, you know that second hop's like a rubber ball, especially when it hits the dirt. You never know where it's going to bounce.
Here's Carpenter with a shift. Scored an error on Desmond, his 5th. That's popped foul out of play. Carpenter 3 times has grounded out to second and struck out. 0 for 4 tonight. One ball and 1 strike. And Carpenter not happy about that. 1-2. Third base umpire hearing it from the Cardinal fans and the dugout.
Good angle right there.
Two and two.
Injury or illness should never interrupt childhood. St. Louis Children's Hospital, guardians of childhood.
2-2 the count on Carpenter. Pulls it foul. The Rockies will have Walters, their catcher, pinch hitter, and then the top of the lineup. Still will have to go through Dull, Arenado, and Gonzalez. Potentially Story before this game is through. 2-2 the count. Jordan Hicks getting loose in the Cardinals' pen. And a grounder hit softly again to second. 4 times Carpenter has done that. Jordan Hicks coming on for the bottom of the 8th. Carlos Martinez. 19 pitches, an inning and 2/3. Struck out 3. He saw 5 batters. Came in with runners at first and second back in the 6th inning. Arenado up. Struck him out. Struck out Story and Desmond. Did a nice job. 7-5 our score. 24 hits combined in this ball game.
Yeah, he did everything you could ask for him to come out of the bullpen. Quite nasty tonight, I would say.
Our Chevy call to the pen. Jordan Hicks. 9th inning on Wednesday. Electric. Bellinger, Dozier, Taylor struck out the side. And the Cardinals were headed to Denver. Bellinger. And all, by the way, were strikeouts looking at pitches nearly 102 miles per hour. Fastball, then a strike.
I was going to say, the ball was not only a strike, it was on the plate. Watch out when you're trying to bunt.
Well, he didn't like the call. I'm not sure why not.
Sometimes when you go to bunt, you kind of step into it a little bit, expecting a fastball away. First pitch, you want to put it down the third base line, and maybe got a little close.
Nothing in 2. .102 up in the zone. Hyundai pitch arsenal. Fastball and a slider. And the 1-2 pitch. 2-2. DJ LeMahieu at the on-deck circle. He'd be the pinch hitter. And then the top of the lineup for the Rockies as we play here in the home half of the 8th. Line drive, Bader coming on. He's there to make the catch. And pointing to the Cardinal dugout, and I can only think that maybe it's positioning done by Willie McGee.
Well, that's where you need to be. You cannot play deep in this outfield all game long and expect to just lay back. You can already see he's a little shallow. It's a pretty good jump right here. The thing for me is those balls that are hit like that are going to carry to you. And if they're hit over your head, they're going to carry further than you can chase. So take away some hits. Keep from the big innings. Hits and walks will kill you in this ballpark.
All the players to Willie's left were clapping for him and giving him trouble. Willie does all the positioning for the outfielders. DJ LeMahieu, strike 1. We've talked about all the young players that have come up for the Cardinals. There are some that were traded away, like Luke Voigt, St. Louis native, to the Yankees. He went 3 for 5, 2 home runs, drove in 4 tonight. The Bronx Bombers beat Baltimore 7-5. Good for Luke. LeMahieu has been a batting champion. He's won Gold Gloves. Remember, for a time he was with the Chicago Cubs and has found a home here with the Rockies. 1-1 pitch. Out of play.
You see Martinez running over there?
Just getting loose.
He was running with ankle weights on. It's like, you know, Sometimes when you're playing the outfield, especially the corners, it's like the ball's foul, you know it's foul, but you kind of got to run for it just because everyone's watching you. If there's a way to make it look like you're running faster than you are, it'd be nice to be able to figure that out. In my case, I always looked like I was running slower than I actually was.
No, you didn't. Not here in that ball game. Here's a 1-2. And then there's times like that you just stand. No chance to get it. Just watch it go into the seats.
Be entertaining TV if you had an ISO of Martinez for 9 innings.
A lot of talking to himself. The fans jumping around, looking around.
Still huffing and puffing over that foul ball.
And the 1-2 pitch to LeMahieu. Two and two the count. StatCast AI powered by AWS. Doesn't go to right all that much, but when you have somebody throwing triple digits, you can see why the infield shades him that way, maybe not anticipating the pull. Jerko well off the line at third base. Outfield also towards right field. 3-2, and he walked him. And the tying run now will come to the plate. He's already homered tonight, Charlie Blackmon. Join us for Purina's Better Together Pet Adoption Days at the ballpark August 28th and 30th. Head to Ford Plaza prior to the games. Meet adoptable furry friends from 5 Acres and the Belleville Area Humane Society. Tickets at Cardinals.com. Strike one on Blackmon.
Yachty, I'm telling you what. I think this guy's easy to hit. He's not even easy to catch. His last 2 balls, one hit Yachty in the palm. I think it stung him, and then that one he almost missed. Look at him shaking his head. So much movement coming out of Hicks at 100 miles an hour.
Here's the 0-1. Ground ball, base hit. Carpenter was holding the runner, and LeMahieu stops at second base.
Hicks missed his location right here. If he throws the ball where they want it, I think he has a good chance of getting him to roll over. Blackmon pretty much a pull hitter. Get down right there in the hole.
Boy, you just never feel safe at this ballpark, ever. This is one of those times that Mike Schilt had mentioned to us where Yachty will not only calm down his pitcher, go over the situation, but then tell the infield, this is how we approach this hitter. This is positioning to think about. He is an extension of the coaching staff in many ways.
Well, he's the captain. He knows what he wants to do. Just being able to execute on the mound.
Baby doll at the plate. And that should be a strike, and it is. Only grounded into 3 double plays this year. He's got good speed. In the dirt, did not go, and the Cardinal bench not happy after seeing a couple of check swings go against them, and that's Mike Schultz screaming at third base umpire Tony Randazzo.
You don't really see Yachty getting that animated over a check swing either. He knows that Carp didn't go.
Oh boy.
Yachty knows what he's talking about. That's what we were talking about today in the meeting. He doesn't miss much.
This guy is filthy.
100-mile-an-hour sinker.
How about the movement on that pitch? Watch the movement.
I mean, he is not even close to that. But you got to be careful here.
Yep. Nolan Arenado, 31 home runs, solo shot back in the 5th inning, single to left, struck out twice. First pitch to him is a ball outside. Cargo on deck, and then Trevor Story, Ian Desmond, so still a long ways to go. Here's a 1-0 pitch. The 2-0. Well, you know he's got the green light.
You got to be careful here. You just can't lay one down the middle.
Ball that'll get to the backstop, but no damage done. The bases will be loaded. And the batter will be Cargo. Mike Myers getting loose in the pen, and now this crowd on both sides, St. Louis and Colorado, the edge of their seats in this very, very important game. Fargo with 2 hits, both singles tonight. Well over 40,000 here tonight. Some of those fans on their feet. Two outs, bases loaded. Strike one. 102 from Jordan Hicks. The 0-1. Little chopper hit to Wong. Hicks and the Cardinals out of the jam. 7-5 as we head to inning number 9. Down by 2 in the 9th, going with their closer. 57 appearances, ERA near 5. The Cardinals, last time we saw Davis, walked it off against him. So when you think about their closer, it's been hit and miss since that time. Sometimes he's closing, other times it's been trying to get him right. But Wade Davis coming into the ball game here in the 9th inning. Miles Mikolas, by the way, home run number 2 on the year. It was measured at 426 feet. And it's our Budweiser play of the game. The second longest by a pitcher hit this year, according to StatCast. And the Cardinals have 4 home runs hit by pitchers this year. Most in baseball. No other team has more than 2. John Gant hit 1. Carlos Martinez, and it ties a franchise record for most home runs in a season. Back in 1980, Cardinals had 4 hit by pitchers, 3 by Bob Forsch, who was terrific, and a converted third baseman to pitching, and Jim Cott. Jim Cott had 1 that year, and Jim Cott should be in the Hall of Fame, by the way. McMahon is at first base, LeMahieu at second, Dahl in right, Desmond in left. Some of the changes, and Davis on the mound.
Oh, I was going to say, so should Dan Hyatt, after tonight's work he has done, he might be in the Hall of Fame soon.
Should be.
He has thrown some numbers out there tonight. Super research.
Yadier Molina in the hole, 0-2.
Sometimes I'm always wondering if that's the research that he's doing or that's just your memory from the 1980 games.
Both.
You don't forget a thing.
Well, you watch every game, you retain it. Most of it. Here's a 1-2. Put in play, hit to short. Trevor Story. And I was a huge fan of both Bob Forsch and Jim Cott.
Jim Cott's got himself a few Gold Gloves, doesn't he?
16.
It's impressive.
Nearly 300 wins. Made a great point to me. I talked to him at length.
He's not in the Hall of Fame. Why?
I can't figure out why. And we were talking about it in spring training, and he said, you know, if I would have cut my career shorter, say 7 or 8 years, I'm probably in the Hall of Fame. And he stayed, he pitched 25 years. So the latter stages of his career were as a reliever and sometimes just a one-man appearance. How Whitey used to use him a lot. He was part of the '82 championship team. He said, so if you shorten my career and then look at those numbers, you say, oh, this guy's a Hall of Famer. But if you say, well, it took 25 years to get there.
You should never have to see how long it takes. It just should be the end-all result. I wouldn't mind having a few more of those Gold Gloves, though. 16 is pretty impressive. He's a big guy, too. It's not like he's the little guy dancing around out there.
There's a fly ball lifted into right near the corner. And the catch is made. Catch by Dahl, who started tonight in left. The day I spoke to Jim in spring training, I said, how's your golf game? And he said, I shot a 78. And I said, well, which side was that from? He said, that was the right side. He said, the day before I shot a 77 from the left.
How's that even possible?
It's unbelievable. And he's, I think, 79, 80 years old now.
Look, you know, they have those gloves with you can put them on either hand. Does he have clubs that he can just spin around the hosel?
It's incredible. Tyler O'Neill. Story, Desmond McMahon coming up for the Rockies in the home half of the ninth. O'Neill, a solo home run back in inning number 2. RBI double in the 5th. Let's see if we can get a shot of that bat. It's got maple leaves on it. Young man from Canada.
They did a good job with those bats this year. I took a peek at a few in the clubhouse before the game. Paul DeYoung's not using his tonight, but his looked like it was kind of green, almost looked like it was the forest. Not like trees, but it was kind of just like camouflaged. And it felt like a telephone pole. It was hard as a rock. Super lacquered, nice and shiny.
The 2-1 pitch to O'Neill. Skies one into center. Charlie Blackmon under it. And this sends us to the home half of the ninth. Bud Norris set to go. 7-5 here in game 1 of this all-important weekend series. 2-run lead, game one. Bud Norris into the ball game, 26 of 30 save opportunities. On the road, his ERA is 1.95 in 28 games. At home, it's actually over 4. The numbers, his career at Coors, not great, but majority of that has been done as a starter, not a reliever. First pitch, tap foul.
Show me some guys that have had great ERAs here.
Not many. And that's line foul, 0-2. Trevor Story at the plate. Key play in this game was back in the third. Catch made by Martinez. It turned out to be a 9-3 to 5-2 double play. Saved a run out of an inning. That seems like a long time ago. 25 hits combined in this game.
It's a good 0-2 pitch right there. Tough pitch to lay off.
And the 1-2. Little chopper hit to DeYoung. Gets him by a step. Boy, he gets down the line, doesn't he?
He was flying. I didn't expect him to be where he was, but I give a lot of credit to some of these guys. When they play hard, they run hard, they play hard. It's a lot of pressure on the defense. I think they've done a little improvement to the sound system here at this beautiful stadium, wouldn't you say? They're rocking.
I would say too, nothing compares to Dodger Stadium.
It can get loud too. Except for most of the noise at Dodger Stadium comes out of center field. With those big old speakers.
I called it the Death Star.
The other place that used to drive me nuts was Shea, because they only had speakers in center field, and it was right in my ear for 9 innings.
It was loud.
So loud.
That place used to literally shake.
Whew. Playoffs at Shea. Think it'd be all right if I asked them to turn the speaker down a little bit?
Excuse me, I know it's game 7
Talk
and it's
about
the
a
9th.
headache. Oh my goodness.
Ball game needs it turned down. Do you mind doing it?
I remembered going in and taking Advil in the middle of games, and my head would pound from that beam behind me. Nowadays, though, like, this place is amazing. Serious sound system all the way around.
0-2 pitch. Liner into right, and the catch is made. That's Jairo Munoz in right field. Versatile player.
Palito. Ball's hit. Hit hard on the line, and nice job by Munoz.
So 2 outs and nobody on. First pitch by Norris. Just off the corner. Cardinals trying to make it win number 72. A ball and a strike.
Tell you what, Bud Norris, when he's on, he has pinpoint control. He's always on the edge of the plate.
Fly ball out to left. O'Neill came in, now back, and it's over his head. I'm not sure if he gets a clean jump on it. He makes that play, but he came in, then it carried on him. And with that, the tying run comes to the plate.
Many times we said it tonight, the ball just does not stop carrying. What looks like a routine line drive ends up bouncing at the very base of the wall. And you're right, I don't know if he catches this ball unless he gets the perfect jump on it. But then you run in full speed into the wall.
Chris Iannetta. Three for 9 as a pinch hitter. Strike one. On the year batting .221. Little pop. He's got 9 home runs. He represents the tying run at the plate. And the 0-1. Nothing in 2. Caught the top of the strike zone. And the Rockies down to their final strike. Cardinals on this remarkable run in trying to take game 1 here in Denver. Nothing in 2 the count. The next by Bud Norris. Just off the plate, trying to get him to chase, and a good example, Jimmy, what you're talking about. That is a perfect 0-2 pitch.
And trying to make it look like it's going to be a strike, and then it's just going to run off the plate. The only chance you have of not being over aggressive right there and swinging a pitch like that is you're just expecting him to make a nasty pitch like that, and you don't want to swing at a ball. If you're trying to be aggressive in a hitting situation right there, you almost always chase stuff like that.
Now the 1-2. Runner advancing to third base. 2-2 the count. Nothing easy at Coors, and that includes the final out.
You got that right, and everyone on the field knows it. Probably what makes it so difficult.
Norris throwing that baseball out, gets a new one. Rubs it up. You mentioned that it can be very dry here and tough to get a grip.
Noticed a few times, guys, Jordan Hicks did the same thing. It looked like he was trying to get some sweat and get his hands a little wet to get that ball so you can feel it. Definitely got to be the tougher part of pitching here.
The 2-2. He takes a ball just off the plate and a little bit low. Very close. Looked to be just outside the strike zone. LeMahieu on deck. And fans on both sides on their feet. The 3-2 pitch. We'll do it again. Again, starting in the strike zone, finishing out.
That's that cutter he was talking about earlier this year. Said in the 90s it's a cutter, a little bit below that's a slider. More control with the cutter, you can kind of pinpoint it a little bit better.
The 3-2 pitch again. The winning run will come to the plate. LeMahieu with 11 home runs this season. The Rockies, last 5 wins, 3 have been the walk-off variety. First pitch to LeMahieu. Strike one. 4 of 5 first pitch strikes. Here's the 0-1. Little chopper hit to third. Jerko is there. Force play at second. Stretched by Wong. The Cardinals win it. They hold on 7-5 and they take game 1 in this weekend series.
But the guts by Wong to just lay on the bag with his foot and stick there just in case. What a play.
Updated standings now. Dropping Colorado a little bit further back, but a big win here in game 1 as you get a look at the National League wild card. What a ball game.
Never easy, but got it done.
26 hits combined in this game, an error side, but the Cardinals hold on by the final of 7-5. Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live is next.